What is happening, guys? My name is JB and welcome to Albums I Have Explored in August. You know what, guys, over the last 30 days I've explored some great albums. I listened to a lot of music from the past, from the latest releases and everything like that. And you know what, there has been some really great music as well. What you're going to see here is basically speedy reviews of the albums I've listened to this month. And you know what, let's first get on with the plugin of Discord. If you ever want to join Discord, click the link below in the description to access the Discord. You can also get early access videos as well now, since I don't have a Patreon anymore. So all my early access videos will be going onto Discord. So join Discord, communicate with other subscribers over Discord, and it's just a really fun place in the Horsley Legion. Alright guys, this month I've definitely explored some more black metal, death metal, doom metal. Definitely checked out a whole discography of a band that I absolutely love now. Let's get on with the first album, and this is none other than Cellar Darling's The Spell. Look, this album is fantastic. It really is a trippy album as well, and I absolutely really enjoyed my first listen. My first ever listen, I fell asleep in bed, and I tried to listen to it a second time and I fell asleep. It's got this strange vibe, but I finally listened to the third time and I finally got through. It's just a fantastic album. It's a concept album. It's all about death, and it's just a brilliant album. My definite favorite songs from Cellar Darling's The Spell is The Pain, Death, The Spell. But Freeze, I really love Freeze as well. Overall, these songs are fantastic. There's sort of interludes throughout this album, but it builds up, like it really builds up this album to the finale of Love Part 2 and Death Part 2. I think Death's got a grip of this individual, and she's trying to maybe kill herself, but she can't kill herself, but at the end she finally dies. But overall, a very enjoyable album. I loved it. I just love the grittiness, progressive tones throughout this album as well. It's just so damn good. Really reminds you of something out of Tool. Now the vocalist is actually a female. She has a fantastic voice, absolutely amazing voice. I believe she's also a lead. I believe she was the vocalist from Elevate as well. Overall, she's got a beautiful angelic voice at times, and the melody of some of these songs are just fantastic. So for Cellar Darling, The Spell, I give this an 8 out of 10. The next album I checked out was a band called Eldritch and their album Reverse. Very enjoyable album. This album was released in 2013. Now I did check, and now this was indeed one of our patron requests, not for the album, but I checked out 2 songs from the band Eldritch, and they were Reverse and Slavery on the Line. And you know what? I really enjoyed this sound. They're really harsh, aggressive sound as well. Really enjoying the vocals and the overall progressive elements and how really powerful the instrumentals are throughout this album. You know what? It starts off with an amazing song called Reverse, and then leads on to Slavery Online. But you got amazing songs like Suffering Degree. You got My Sharona, the cover, which I believe is actually better than the original. And you got the last song, which is an absolute fantastic song, Little Irwin. And overall, this album is fantastic. A very enjoyable listen. Like the albums, it's a very enjoyable listen. It is a really enjoyable listen, and I absolutely love the overall tone of this album. The overall production, the mixing is fantastic, and for this album I'd probably give this an 8 out of 10 as well. Okay, so the next album I checked out was the Anthropocene Extinction by Cradle Decapitation. Wow, okay, this album is fantastic. Now I didn't expect to enjoy this album. This is sort of a grindcore album. It was a very enjoyable album, heavy breakdowns along with harsh aggressive vocals, along with also clean vocals as well. I love the Prophets of Loss, We Fucking Die Tonight, and Manufactured Extinct. But overall, these songs are really cool. Now, really strong message as well throughout this album. It's all about the damnation of mankind and how we have destroyed the earth. They're really heavily on how they are hating mankind, and this is all about the damnation of mankind as well. The lyrics overall are really strong, and you can't help but enjoy it. Got amazing songs like The Prophets of Loss, The Mammals in Babylon. It's really good. Track 11 Exitinction, which is basically instrumental that leads on to Atmospheric Pacific Grim. A very enjoyable album. I loved it. I really did. I really enjoyed the grindcore elements, the strong grittiness of the guitars and bass as well. Awesome. The drums were absolutely fantastic in this album. Overall, I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10. Okay, so the next album I checked out was Carnifex World War X, or whatever you want to fucking call it. Alright, so World War X, yeah, okay, it's not a really, it's a deathcore album. The album's got some good songs on it, like World War X is a great song, and up to the 4th song, okay, then it gets quite repetitive. There's so many breakdowns that are very predictable, and in my opinion, I don't really actually enjoy this album, to be honest, but in my opinion, it's not my taste. It's not, because how many friggin' breakdowns do you have to repeat in a song? It's very predictable in my opinion. It's not a really enjoyable album. Like, you got some good guitar moments and good, awesome drumming. The vocals are good, but they can be quite repetitive. I think with Elisa, that was a great song. Can't remember what the song was called, but it was an enjoyable album up to the 4th track. From then it was repetitive. I'm so glad it was 35 minutes long, but to me it seemed like an hour. So for this album, I'll probably give this a 3 out of 10. So the next album I checked out was The Boats of Carig by Ahab, and they are a funeral doom metal band. Now they are just a fantastic band. I've explored their whole discography, so I really do enjoy their songs. I really do. I love the doom metal elements throughout some of these songs, and the harsh vocals as well, along with the clean vocals. He's got great vocals. You got amazing songs like The Isle, The Thing That Made Search, and then you got The Weird Man, which is 15 minutes long. It's such an enjoyable album. It really is. It's an experience. It's all about the Pacific, and it's all about the ocean. It's just friggin' awesome, this album. The Boats of Carig is definitely a journey. You close your eyes and you picture that you're on the ocean and you're on an adventure, and it was a very enjoyable album. So for this album, I'd probably give this a 9 out of 10. Ahab are a fantastic funeral doom metal band. They do funeral doom very well. It was the first ever funeral doom album I checked out, apart from Soul of the Sun, Songs from the North, Disc 3. But this was a very enjoyable album. Okay, so the next album I checked out was Alien by the band Northlane. Northlane are an Australian metalcore band, and they really outdone themselves with this album. It's a concept album. The lead singer Marcus had basically telling about his childhood, about his parents, about his father. But you got amazing songs like Bloodline, 4D, Talking Heads, Gin, Eclipse, a really ravey feel to the song. And then you got Vultures and an amazing closer, Sleepless. Really soft, nice ballad, really soft song, but also quite heavy. I really did enjoy this album. Love the concept of this album. I did a mini review a few weeks ago, and yeah, my rating would probably drop now. I'd probably give this an 8 out of 10, just because there are some flaws on this album. First of all, I think the tracking's a little bit wrong in my opinion. Because it was such great music I listened to this month, this album drops to an 8 now, because there's so much, there's a lot better music than this album, to be honest. So I'll give this album an 8 out of 10. Okay, so the next album was From Darkness to Night by the band Narnia. Narnia, very enjoyable band they are. I really did enjoy this album. I love the progressive elements as well throughout this album, and also got this really nice symphonic feels throughout some of these songs. A Crack in the Sky is an amazing song, lovely guitar solo, You Are the Air That I Breathe, some really melodic choruses. The War That Tore the Land is a beautiful song. Sail On, I Will Follow, and From Darkness to Light Part 1 and Part 2 are just fantastic songs. They are epic in my opinion. Really enjoy his vocals as well. So with Narnia, I'll probably give this a 7 out of 10. Dimmu and their album For the Tid. Okay, so I got some problems with this album. I didn't really enjoy this album. To be honest, I didn't enjoy it. The vocals were a bit strange in my opinion, It was the overall instrumentals as well. And I'm gonna be brutally honest, I kind of wanted this album to end. Like, I listened to it a few times and I didn't gravitate towards it. Weird black metal, it was really weird. Like, they had the sort of symphonic feels, really airy moments, but you just had straight, hard, heavy instrumentals with drums, guitars, without the symphonic elements. I feel this album would have been a lot better. The vocals, on the other hand, were okay, but I did check out another Dimmu album this month as well. But in my opinion, Forward Tid will probably get a 3 out of 10 for me. So yeah, I'll give this a 3. The next album I checked out was Fallen Idols. This album was released this month. A very enjoyable album, repetitive listens, United Welcome Back, Immortal, Not to the Old School, really heavy and gritty, Chaos Reigning, Counting Down the Hours, a beautiful, slow ballad song that I absolutely love. Overall, these songs are fantastic. Their average time length for 5 minutes, but it's a very enjoyable album incorporating power metal, death metal at times, but the guitars are absolutely fantastic. With Lord, the album gets a lot better throughout the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th listen. It's a very, very fun album to check out. So with Fallen Idols, I'd probably give this an 8 out of 10. Okay, so the next album I checked out was Forgotten Paths by the band Saor. It's folky black metal, and this is black metal done right in my opinion, unlike Dimmu Borgir's Forward Tid. This is a really fun black metal album. I love the folky elements throughout some of these songs, like Forgotten Paths, Brawn, and Monad, whatever you call it. But all these songs, apart from Exile, are 10-minute plus songs. Very enjoyable songs. Some really awesome changes, time signatures throughout some of these songs. So I really did enjoy this album. There are only 4 songs. The album's about 36 minutes, but very, very fun album to check out. This album is on repetitive listens as well. Can't help but enjoy. Love those clean vocals at times throughout some of these songs. So with Saor's Forgotten Paths, I'd probably give this a 8 out of 10. The next album, so the next band I checked out was Satricon, Now Diabolical. Now Diabolical. So after I filmed Black Discovery, I definitely checked out this whole entire album. The first Satricon song I checked out was The Pentagram Burns. Very enjoyable song. I loved it. I really did love it. And from then I said, I gotta check out the whole album. And I did. I checked out Now Diabolical. This album has a few flaws in it. It does, basically, it sounds the same. There are some interesting moments of the album. Now Diabolical is a fantastic song. King's a good song. The Pentagram Burns is a masterpiece in my opinion. And then you got the Rite of Our Cross, The Darkness Shall Be Eternal. To the Mountains is a fun song, 8 minutes. But this album sounds the same. It does, and it just loses its steam after A New Enemy. And this was very disappointing. This is the first Satricon album I checked out. I did enjoy it. I dig his vocals, but I wanted something different. And for me, this album is monotone. It sounds the same at times, and it's basically got the same sort of ad-libs as well. So with Now Diabolical by Satricon, I'd probably give this a 5 out of 10. Still better than Dimmu Borgir's Forward Tid for sure. Okay, so the next album I checked out was the Black Metal Kings, Bathory, and their album Blood, Fire, Death. Okay, so check this album out. And it is a fantastic album. It is. I love the black metal elements throughout these songs, like A Fine Day to Die, those cymbals, that guitar riff, I love that. Blood, Fire, Death is an amazing song as well, an absolute masterpiece, 10-minute song. Really enjoyed the song. For All Those Who Died, Holocaust is a great song as well. This is a masterpiece. I love this album. This is a fantastic album by Bathory. It's the first album I checked out by Bathory. Very enjoyable album. give this a really high rating as well. All themes on Vikings as well. So this is a very, very enjoyable album. I loved it, I really did. I dig his vocals as well, I dig his instrumentals. The production is okay in my opinion, but I understand the black metal production now. So with this album, I'll probably give this an 8 or even, let's say, a 9 out of 10. I loved it. The next band I checked out was Power Trip, and their album Manifest Decimation. Right, so this was an enjoyable album. So Power Trip are a thrash metal band, but they really remind me of something from Slayer. Like, they're really an awesome thrash metal band. I loved it. Love Manifest. Love their self-titled track, Manifest Decimation, Murder's Row, Drown, Power Trip, and even the Hammer of Doubt. Very enjoyable songs. Awesome guitar lead. The vocals are amazing. They're harsh and aggressive at times. I believe that the second album by Power Trip was a lot better, but for this album I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10. So after Power Trip's first album, checked out Power Trip's second album, and this was a very enjoyable album. The best album for sure. One of the best thrash metal albums I have heard in my life. Executioner's Tax, Swing of the Axe is an amazing song. Crucifixation is an amazing song as well. Firing Squad. What these songs manage to do is they just bleed into each other, which just sounds like one big song. A very enjoyable album by Power Trip. And Nightmare Logic, I would probably give even an 8 out of 10. I loved it. Okay, so the next album I checked out was Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind. I basically did a 24-minute review, so we're not going much into it. But you know what? This album is definitely growing on me. Like, in my first initial listens, I weren't very impressed. The second, third, fourth, fifth, oh wow, this album is fantastic. The only song I do not like from this album is My Pain. That is a horrible song. They tried to do something similar to Danger Keep Away. It didn't work in this. I don't enjoy this song, My Pain. But the rest of the songs, like Orphan, The Red Flag, Critical Darling, all these other songs like Solway Firth and even Not Long for This World, very, very enjoyable songs apart from My Pain. So with this album, I'd probably change this to an 8 or even 9. Probably give this, still give this an 8 out of 10 because there are some flaws such as My Pain, which is like a 7 to 8 minute interlude, which is just not acceptable in my opinion. And this is what really downgraded the album. The rest of the songs are absolutely brilliant. Spiders is even a grower as well. Okay, the next album I checked out was Tool 10,000 Days. So, as you know, I'm not reacting to Tool anymore, but I'm basically reviewing. I will give you a full album review for Tool. Can I just say that I was very impressed with this album. I was. Vicarious is an amazing song. Jambi, I still can't get around with Jambi, to be honest. But Wings for a Marie Part 1 and 10,000 Days Wings Part 2 are absolutely amazing songs. I love some of these songs as well, like Rosetta Stone is an amazing song. Maynard's vocals are on another level in this album, along with Danny Carey's drumming and Adam Jones' guitar work. Throughout this album, it's a very enjoyable album. It really is. Right In 2 is an amazing. The Pod is an amazing song. I love the lyrics of Tool as well. Really sending a strong message. For this album, 10,000 Days, I probably give this a solid 8 out of 10. Next band I checked out was Ahab again, and their album The Giant. This is definitely my favorite albums from Ahab. For sure, this is amazing album. This is. I just love this funeral doom they incorporating throughout this album. His vocals are fantastic, incorporates his clean vocals as well. Aeons Elapse is an amazing song. Antarctica, the Polymorphosis, holy shit, that guitar riff, dun 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 dun, absolutely fantastic. This album is a very headbangable album. Even though it's slow, you can't help but headbang to this album. Got amazing songs like The Giant, Fathoms Deep Below. Whole absolutely amazing journey they put you through. You just close your eyes, you picture yourself on the ocean in the Pacific. A fantastic album in my opinion. So for this album, I'm giving this a solid 10 out of 10. This is a perfect album, perfect doom, funeral doom album, and this deserves a 10 out of 10. There's not one bad song on this album. There's not one song that is weak on this album. 8-minute plus songs. Some songs go for 13 minutes. Damn. Very enjoyable album, so a solid 10 out of 10 for me. Next album was Wintersun. This was Wintersun's first album. I'd probably say it's the weakest album because you got Time, which is an amazing album, and you also got The Forest Seasons, an amazing masterpiece of an album, which is a solid 10 out of 10 for me. The self-titled album is definitely the weakest. There are some good elements, death metal elements, and folky elements as well. You got amazing songs like Beyond the Dark Sun, Battle Against Time, Death and Their Healing. I just feel it lacks a little bit. The production does lack. Like, I don't think the production's that good. Got Time and The Forest Seasons, which is enjoyable, so much better albums than the self-titled album of Wintersun. But for this, I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10. So the next band I went back to was Cradle of Filth, and their album, The Cruelty and the Beast. A fantastic album. I loved it. It's all about Bathory, all about Elizabeth Bathory, who basically killed virgins and everything. I'm loving the concept of this album. It's just fucking fantastic. It is amazing. Danny's vocals are just exceptional in this. Now, I love the overall production of this album. It's scary, especially wearing these headphones. You got Danny whispering in your ear, then you got Elizabeth Bathory whispering in your ear as well. It's really eerie. Drum mix isn't as good as the other Cradle of Filth albums I heard, but that's just one negative. It's a very solid album in my opinion. I think it's one of my favorites. I think it's definitely my favorite album by Cradle of Filth. But for this album, I'd probably give this a 9 out of 10. Got amazing songs like Lust More Than Wargasms, Beneath the Howling Stars, Cruelty Brought These Orchards. Amazing songs. I loved it. I really did. Cradle of Filth can't do anything wrong in my opinion right now. I'm going to the concert in 10 days. In 10 days, that's right. So I'll be putting out a review after I go to my first ever Cradle of Filth concert. Band we went back to was Ahab again, and their album, The Core of the Wretched Seas. Fantastic album. It's amazing. This is Ahab's first ever album. Funeral Doom Metal as well. Really slow songs, but so damn good. Old Thunder is an amazing song. There's one part where it says Ahab. I absolutely love that part. And it's got an awesome melody to the song. Below the Sun's an amazing song. The Pacific's also a good song. There's no clean vocals in this album. It's just harsh and it's just really deep growls. It's got really good growls as well throughout this album. Ahab's Oath is an amazing song. The Hunt, The Sermon. This album's about over an hour long. Probably my second favorite album from Ahab. I really did enjoy it. Really awesome repetitive listens as well. I'd probably give this a 9 out of 10. I just feel that The Giant's a little bit stronger than this album, but yeah, this gives a solid 9. So also from Ahab, I checked out the Divinity of Oceans. Look, it's an enjoyable album, but it's definitely not my favorite. I think it's my least favorite album from this band. They did something different. They did, and I don't think it worked. There are some enjoyable songs like Redemption Lost is a good song, Tombstone Carousel, and Yet Another Raft of Medusa. But this album doesn't grab me like The Giant and The Core of the Wretched Sea. This is the second album. I enjoyed it, but it's gonna take a few more listens to enjoy it. So for this, I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10. So the next band I checked out was Opeth and their album My Arm Your Hearse. An enjoyable album this is. This is a fantastic album. Opeth can't do anything wrong. I know I was supposed to react to it. I was in a stage where I needed to listen to another Opeth album, and because there was so many Patreon requests and everything like that, I just said, oh god, I just have to listen to this album. I gotta listen to this album. I have to, and I'm so glad I did. When is amazing song, the Amen Corner, Demon of the Fall. I love that song. Michael's vocals are just outstanding in this album. Credence is an amazing song. Epilogue is a beautiful instrumental that just finishes this whole concept. Credence is an amazing song. All these songs are absolutely fantastic. Loving April Ethereal. Oh, very enjoyable songs, and even love the covers as well, like Circle of the Tyrant and also Remember Tomorrow. It's a very enjoyable album and I absolutely loved it. I've listened to this album probably about 5 or 6 times now, and this to me gets a solid 9 out of 10. One of my favorite Opeth albums I have heard. I believe that Still Life is probably better, and Blackwater Park is the OG in my opinion. But yeah, this is better than Ghost Reveries, I'm gonna say. But My Arms, Your Hearse is an amazing album. I absolutely loved it. Next album I checked out was Dimmu Boogers Stormblast. Look, it was a lot better than Forfeited, for sure. It was a lot better. Instrumentals were good at parts. Got nice guitars throughout some of these songs. Enjoyable songs, some of them. His vocals were a lot better. Look, there are some weaknesses throughout this album as well. But overall, it was an enjoyable album. I still think that Puritania was the best Dimmu Boogers album I've checked out. But Stormblast was okay in my opinion. I'd probably give this a 6 out of 10. Still an enjoyable album. So Tarja, The Shadow Self I checked out. Still got to do an album review for this, but there are some very enjoyable songs. Innocence is an amazing song. Love the piano throughout that song. Demons in You with Elisa White Glues. Now, what this song reminded me of was Psychosocial, like the guitar riff. Dun, 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 dun. Really reminded of Psychosocial by Slipknot. But there was some. It was a very enjoyable song. Tarja's vocals are absolutely outstanding in this album. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a fun album. But it's a really fun album, but at times I feel that this album's a bit generic. It is a little bit generic, but it is still an enjoyable album, and I absolutely loved it. So for this album, I'd probably give Tarja, The Shadow Self, a 7 out of 10. So I basically did a whole album review for Haken Aquarius. But you know what? This album is just fantastic. It is, and just think this was their debut album. The Point of No Return's an amazing song. Aquarium, Eternal Rain, Drowning the Flood, Sun, Celestial Elixir. Amazing songs, to be honest. I'm not going to go right through it. A very enjoyable album it was. Love the progressive elements. Love the strange eeriness of some of these songs as well. So with Haken Aquarius, I'd probably give this a solid 9 out of 10. It gets so much better in the second, third, and fourth, fifth listens. Alright, so the next band we checked out was Maelstrom and their album Hellweaver. Wow, okay, so Maelstrom and Aeterna, Hellweaver, is the debut album. Really enjoyed this. Sort of reminds me of something like Amaranthi, the synths and everything like that, along with the death metal element vocals. My mate didn't really enjoy this album, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. Songs like Hellweaver, Affection Flame, Terminal Creation, Endgame, Chronicle. This is a fantastic album. It is. And what's amazing, it incorporates those clean vocals, especially throughout the piano rendition of Hellweaver. It's an enjoyable album, it is, but at times there are some flaws. Like there are some really heavy synth elements which really drowns out the vocals sometimes, and the overall mixing isn't as great as I thought. I checked out Hellweaver on a reaction. I had to check out the whole album. In the Absence of Light is fantastic, and From the Dark is a fantastic song as well. So with this album, I'd probably give this a solid 7 out of 10. So the next band I checked out was none other than Dream Theater, When Dream and Day Unite. And this was you definitely saw my reaction to this album. Dream Theater's When Dream and Day Unite is an enjoyable album. Like, Charlie is a fantastic vocalist. He is. I absolutely love songs like Yet Say Jam and The Killing Hand, Afterlife, The One Who Helped to Set the Sun, and also a song Only a Matter of Time. Unfortunate Lies is a fantastic song as well. So overall, this album is very enjoyable, but unfortunately, I don't want to listen to it again. Like, nothing really gravitates me back to this album. Like, I want to listen to Images and Words instead, and Awake, and I want to listen to more Falling into Infinity. I want to listen to anything that's James Labrie. Hopefully that feeling wanting to go back to this album is gonna come back, but at the moment I've only listened to about 2 or 3 times. Very enjoyable album, but the weakest album by Dream Theater by far. Some killer songs as well. So with this album, I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10. I still stand by my decision. Alright, so the next band I checked out was Suicidal Angels and their album Years of Regression. Endless War is a fantastic song. Born of Hate is a magnificent song as well. I think this band would be classified as heavy metal and at times thrash metal. Incorporate a few thrash metal and heavy metal elements throughout some of these songs, And there's strong political songs as well, really strong messages. I love the Sacred Dance of Chaos, an absolutely amazing 7-minute masterpiece in my opinion. This album was released this year in August. Very enjoyable album. Bloody Ground's an amazing song as well. Some really heavy elements throughout some of these songs. I think they incorporate death metal elements as well. I don't know what their genre would be. I couldn't say thrash or heavy metal. But for this album, I'd probably give this a solid 8 out of 10. The next band I checked out was Pathology Reborn to Kill. Okay, so this album, I didn't really enjoy this album, and you can't pick up a melody. This is sort of grindcore, but I think it's bad grindcore in my opinion. I didn't really like it. Nothing like Cradle Decapitation, which I absolutely loved. It's not very good in my opinion. I didn't really enjoy this album, to be honest. Empathy Ends was a fun song, I suppose, which was 1:50. But yeah, this album's definitely forgettable. For this album, I'm going to give this a solid 2 out of 10. The next band I checked out was none other than Black Metal King's Emperor and their album In the Nightside Eclipse. A very enjoyable album. I love his vocals. I really do love the production as well. Distant but very goddamn atmospheric. Into the Infinity of Thoughts is an amazing song. Cosmic Keys to My Creation and Times. Inno a Satana. I Am the Black Wizards, absolutely amazing songs. I really enjoyed the changes. There's some awesome sexy changes throughout some of these songs. Inno a Satana is just an amazing song in my opinion. And they also did an alright cover of Fine Day to Die, Bathory's song. I prefer Bathory's, to be honest. I didn't really enjoy Emperor's version. It was still fun, but there's something missing, like the drums were a little bit different. What an amazing album this was. It was, and to listen to Emperor's first ever album, I'd probably give this a solid 8 out of 10. I loved it, it was fantastic. So the last album I checked out for this month was the band Agalok, another black metal band, and their album The Mantle. Look, I checked one song, I Am the Wooden Doors, on this channel, I believe, and that was a fantastic song. Basically checked out the whole album and I loved it. In the Shadow of Our Pale Companion is fantastic. It's just an atmospheric, beautiful album. They incorporate acoustic guitar throughout some of these songs. The Odal's amazing song. Absolutely love the Hawthorne Passage. Wow, incredible song. You Were But a Ghost in My Arms is a fantastic acoustic song as well. It's just an amazing experiencing listening to this album. It is. The acoustic vibes you're getting throughout the song, along with incorporated a lot of those electric guitars, is just fantastic. And the vocals were absolutely fantastic. Harsh, aggressive vocals, along with the clean vocals as well. Very enjoyable album. A solid 9 out of 10 in my opinion. Fantastic album. You definitely got to check this out. So the link in the descriptions will be all the albums I checked out for this month. My least favorite would definitely be Pathology Reborn to Kill. My favorite would probably be, wow, I got a few favorites. Probably gonna say Ahab the Giant, because that's a fucking amazing album. And even The Mantle Agalog is an amazing album as well. Hope you did enjoy the albums I have explored in August. Guys, check out these albums as well. Check out all these albums. I think you'll love them. Really, it's been a great month of music in my opinion. So join me at the end of next month as I give you the albums I have explored in September. And also comment below what albums you want me to check out on my own time as well. So guys, I hope you did enjoy albums I have explored in August. Join me next month for albums I have explored in September. Comment below what you thought about this video. It's a long video as well. And also give me some recommendations for albums I should check out for this month. Drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you in